Elephants are one of the cutest, smartest, and most social animals out there. They also have an incredible amount of empathy, which is why they easily make friends with lots of different animal species. With so many to choose from, these are just a few stories showing these friendships. Vet follows baby elephant. In the wild, it's survival of the fittest. Sadly, this can often lead to some heartbreaking situations, such as when this baby elephant was rejected from his herd back in 2020. Rescuers eventually found the 2-week-old calf and brought him to the Thula Thula Private Game Reserve in Zululand. It turned out that the elephant, who the rescuers had nicknamed Ellie, had all sorts of health problems, including an infected umbilical hernia. Only 1% of animals survived this condition. They provided Ellie with the best possible care that they could in order for him to make a successful recovery. But it was a long and difficult road ahead of them. In order to survive, the baby elephant was going to need food. More importantly, milk. Unfortunately, due to his poor health, the calf was lactose intolerant, which made feeding him very difficult. After trying the baby animal on a variety of different formulas, he eventually settled on synthesized milk made from protein, minerals, and coconut oil. But even though his health was slowly stabilizing, his mental condition was now a worry, because elephants are such social creatures, they need bonds in order to survive. But as Ellie didn't have this, he was becoming depressed. Unable to release him back into the wild due to his poor health, the sanctuary came up with another plan. They would introduce him to another animal in the center, and they had the perfect companion in mind. The staff introduced Ellie to an adult German shepherd called Duma. The canine was a retired police dog who loved everyone and everything. The two animals' first playdate was in a sandpit, and to everyone's delight, it looked like Duma's presence was helping the baby calf. He suddenly started getting a little bit of interest in life again, said Karen Trendler, one of Ellie's carers. Duma and Ellie's bond continued to grow, with the canine taking on a father figure role and protecting the young calf. Eventually, they became inseparable. "We have a hard time keeping Duma away from the elephant. He's become incredibly protective," said one of the staff members. Not only was the dog helping Ellie's mental health, though, his physical health also picked up due to his newfound friend. But then, the worst happened. Ellie got septicemia. The staff tried desperately to save the poor baby, but unfortunately, it was too much, and the little elephant passed away. Duma's own mental health took a big hit after the death of his friend and childlike figure, and he became depressed. The staff knew that they had to help him, which is why they introduced the dog to a new arrival at the sanctuary, a baby black rhino called Nandi. The dog took to the rhino straight away and resumed his role of befriending those who needed it most. And although he will never forget Ellie, Duma is content to lend a helping paw in any way he can. Even though the elephant sadly passed away, it's nice to know that he had such a caring friend until the end. But it's not just dogs who baby elephants can befriend. As this next unlikely friendship shows, baby elephant and giraffe become BFFs. Whether it's size, age, or even species, sometimes love and friendship knows no bounds. So when two orphaned animal babies became the best of friends, it was one of the cutest things to see. Kiko, a 1-month-old baby giraffe, was found all alone in the wild by the Kenyan Wildlife Service earlier this year. Without his mother, he would not survive very long by himself, and so he was taken to the local wildlife trust at the Nairobi National Park. Because of how young he was, Kiko was too small to sleep in the giraffe stable with the other animals. Instead, he was housed next to the elephants, where he came across his new best friend. Loboito was a 3-week-old elephant calf who had also been found alone in the wild and brought to the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust to be looked after. The two quickly formed a close bond and would do everything together, although the baby elephant did have trouble keeping up with his long-legged friend. But despite being small, Loboito made up for it with his enthusiasm and playful attitude. The small animal loved spending time hiding under Kiko's long legs and could be seen joyfully trotting behind his spotted companion. After playing chase for a while, the baby giraffe would let the elephant catch up and then bend down to give his friend a cuddle. Rob Branford, the executive director of the trust, said, "Loboito follows Kiko everywhere he goes and particularly enjoys spending time underneath Kiko's legs and belly." Eventually, the plan is to release these two beautiful creatures back into the wild where they belong once they are old enough. Until then, the staff at the sanctuary will give Kiko and Loboito all the love, care, and attention that they need so they can grow up and be strong and healthy animals. And who knows, the two cheeky creatures might even stay friends once in the wild. Because as they say, an elephant never forgets. And that goes double for his friends. Can't get enough of these cute, unlikely friendships? Then stick around, because there's more coming your way. Baby elephant befriends ostrich. It seems that giraffes aren't the only friends that elephants make, though, as another unlikely friendship formed between an ostrich and an elephant calf. And surprisingly, it was at the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust where it happened. In 2012, a very special young ostrich called P was rescued and taken to the trust to be looked after. Once there, the cheeky bird immediately developed an interest in the elephants of the sanctuary and quickly became their personal entertainer and friend. A staff member from the sanctuary said that she was an integral part of the nursery family here, and that she was loved by the elephants who would hug her, play with her, and positively maul her with affection. But although she gained a lot of friends very fast, there was one elephant in particular that she formed a very special bond with, an elephant called Joto. The young calf was only 1 month old when he was found stuck at the bottom of a well in Nairobi. He had supposedly been abandoned there when his keepers had taken the rest of his herd for a drink and he had fallen in. After being rescued, he was taken to the sanctuary where he became fast friends with the lovable ostrich. They would be found cuddling, taking naps, and just generally enjoying each other's company. The shelter said in a post that, "It is safe to say that orphaned ostrich P most definitely believes she is part of the elephant herd, and little Joto is more than happy to enjoy a cuddle with his feathered friend." As the two grow bigger, so did their bond. Although they never lost their love for a good nap, since then, Joto has been released back into the wild. And though they might not be together anymore, Joto and P definitely had an adorable bond that just proved friendships can happen across all sorts of species. How adorable! But it seems like elephants can make friends with almost anyone, as this next story continues to prove. Baby elephant befriends sheep. Amanzi was a baby elephant who didn't have the best start in life, but things got better when he was adopted by an unusual new mom. Who was this odd surrogate mother? A sheep called Lammy. In 2016, Amanzi was found trapped in a drain near a copper mine in South Africa. The miners were able to rescue the baby elephant, however, by the time he was free, his herd had gone. The miners tried to wait and see if the calf's family would return. Unfortunately, they didn't. With the young animal quickly becoming dehydrated, the rescuers were left with no other choice but to give it to the non-profit organization Elephants Alive, so that it could get the care it needed. The organization tried to reintegrate the young elephant into a different herd, but it was unsuccessful. Amanzi was then transferred to the Hoedspruit Endangered Species Center, where he met Lammy. At first, the sheep was a bit cautious of this new animal, as she was used to looking after orphan rhinos, but the two soon became inseparable. The two would love to play together, and when Amanzi didn't want to have his milk, she would stay by his side to help calm him down and encourage him to eat. Unfortunately, despite the sheep's best efforts, the baby elephant took a turn for the worse, and even though volunteers tried their best to help him get better, Amanzi sadly passed away. Lammy was moved back to where the rhinos were housed to help her cope with the little elephant's death. As sad as it is, it's difficult for baby animals to survive without their mothers, but at least Lammy gave Amanzi the best chance he could have had, which is true love. But it is not just babies who can make new friends, as the next elephant shows. Elephant befriends sea lion. Lots of people think that zoos aren't the best place for animals to be. They can be small, unnatural, and boring for the creatures who have to live there. Unfortunately, they are necessary to help protect certain species. Many zoos also have a breeding scheme to try and help endangered species increase in population. But being in captivity doesn't mean the animals have to be bored. There are plenty of solutions to help keep the animals entertained. And this one zoo came up with the best yet. Back in 2007, the Oregon Zoo would often take their Asian elephants on morning walks to see the other animals. This is when Chendra, the smallest Asian elephant, came across Gus, the sea lion. The two were photographed saying hello to each other, with Chendra reaching her trunk towards him and the seal lifting his head as if asking for a scratch. Even though the two only met once, it's clear to see just how friendly these big, lovable animals are. Aren't elephants the best? It's no wonder why so many animals want to become their friends. I definitely would as well.